Gravity's a bitch.
If you're hearing our voices, it means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast where we watch the worst movies from trailer 10 credits, scene by scene, so you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared.
Gravity is a bitch.
You hate it. You hate it.
Gravity has taken two halves of two of my teeth, so.
Gravity took my father.
Wow. I'm not even sure what this...
No, my dad's still alive.
Yeah, I was like... Just like took him down into the chair so he could sit down and watch TV.
That's right.
All right. So we're back with part 2 of our breakdown of Green Lantern 2011 Ryan Reynolds epic franchise superhero movie.
Of the DCEU.
Yes. The beginning, the red light of the DCEU. And they're like, ooh, whoops.
Let's just try again, boys.
So I think last we left, we had a big bar fight, bar fight, right? Yep. Bob from marketing.
Bob from marketing, right?
Yeah, and Todd and Gene from accounting jumped Hal Jordan.
Gave him a surprisingly good whooping.
Like, yeah, those numbers guys, they just got to let it out sometimes.
Union boys.
Yep.
Todd and Gene are teamsters, you could tell.
Oh, 100%. And then we got a little foreshadowed with the big fist that might come back later on to save the day. He knocks out all 3 of them across the board, blah, blah, blah. So here we are now. We've left that
jettisoned into space.
Yeah, we're galaxy questing ourselves across space. And as he's doing this trip, we actually cut back to Hector Hammond's place.
Yep, who's tossing and turning all night. He looks kind of sickly.
Having some serious night terrors. Checks himself in the mirror. His eyes are yellow. This is another one of those, like, kind of, I don't, like, were they trying to do something like where between Hector and Hal, like they were like an opposite
attracted to each other?
No, like they were, what? I don't know. Like every one of these scenes, like they did a lot of these scenes where like all of a sudden they were doing quick cuts between the two of them doing actions. Like, are they trying to mirror them?
Sure, because I mean, fear is the opposite of will, which we all know, of course.
Oh, good call. You nailed it.
I guess. I don't know. I think that is what they were going for. He's living in his fear, and Hal is trying to understand how to be a Green Lantern.
Okay, I buy that.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one.
Yep.
So then we cut to Hal, speaking of flying through some asteroids, there's some astronauts doing a spacewalk, which seems disruptive.
It's just letting you know that we're in space.
Yeah, I had no idea otherwise. And then we're back to Hammond looking sick in the mirror this time. He's looking at himself, realizing that he is unwell.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say he's got the bug. Yeah, he's been bitten by the bug of fear.
The bug of fear, yeah. And then Hal's finishes flying through bad CGI space and makes it to Oa, where he's in a body scanner from the trailer. Naked, of course, because again, contractually obligated number of Ryan Reynolds shirtless scenes.
That's fine. That's part of it, right? It's like,
yep. I get it. I'm on board. And then he gets electrocuted or something.
Yeah, he's getting like zapped or like tortured. I was like, what is going on right now?
Wait, what? I agree.
Get a little bit of like a Jesus moment kind of thing too. They're zapping his hands, and it's like, I was like,
a rebirth. Yeah.
Let's. Did you? I mean, is that too much? Am I looking too deep into that? But is it?
He's not crucified. I think you're right.
it's pretty annoying and pretty terrible. And then he's suited up into the Green Lantern.
That's right.
Ta-da! Stupid mask and all. And he wakes up in a pretty
important note here.
Yep.
I don't know if you got it.
Probably
they did one thing that they did track correctly, kind of, from the comics to the movie, is they give Ryan Reynolds blue eyes instead of brown eyes when he's got the mask on. That's how they're like, look, it's a secret identity. Like, oh, his eyes changed color and he put a little mask on.
Did not even catch that.
Yeah, it's stupid. But yeah, they tried. They're like, look, he looks totally different now. His eyes changed color. Yeah, of course. I definitely noticed. But like, to be fair, that's what the comics do too. In the comic for Hal Jordan, I think he changes his hair color too slightly. I think his hair gets a little darker. when he's in his Green Lantern costume. It's dumb.
I mean, for the most part, most DC superheroes are not very good at hiding, other than Batman, hiding their, their secret
like
identity.
Superman. Like, he puts on glasses.
Yeah.
Like, of course.
And
Is that you, Cole?
Yeah. It puts on glasses and acts weak.
Mm.
Clearly, he's human.
Puts on glasses and slouches a little bit.
All right. So Hal's in his new suit, kind of stretching out, checking it out. It doesn't seem really all that confused and or surprised. Again, not asking a lot of questions where he is. He just immediately gets into being Ryan Reynolds in a green costume.
Stuff.
Yeah. And doing something.
Which, again, we mentioned it in the Fast Facts, but the CGI costume is like something truly from a next level of horrible hell, right? Like it's
yeah.
like why did you animate it this way? It's so bad.
You got to be on another planet. You've got space travel. You got all those things going on. I mean, you kind of have to go all CG in though, right?
I guess, but then make it good, like Iron Man or Avatar or anything else that's ever happened.
But then the budget's now $250 or $300 million. I mean, maybe Campbell. I mean, maybe there's something going on here. Like 90% of your movie is CG.
It's so frustrating
because 50% of it takes place in made up places.
I'd rather see Ryan Reynolds in like the motion capture suit that they use in order to do that CG than the Green Lantern costume, right?
The dots across his face.
Yeah. Like I'd rather watch that and be like, oh yeah, that's a costume.
Yeah, I just don't know how they would have, done that balance of like, an actual suit and then also be in this world. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, like modern superhero movies do.
And like Marvel
The Boys
did it.
on Amazon.
Yeah, like Marvel did it.
Everyone does it. Yeah, everyone does it. Yeah. Everyone except you can do it. Martin Campbell.
I was like, I didn't make this movie.
Squarely on your feet, Martin Campbell.
All right, so he's messing around. He's all fired up in his suit, and we meet our first Green Lantern outside of Sinestro, and it's Temuera Ray, right?
Yep, a talking fish, which I'm going to call you out again from the trailer trash.
Me?
Yep, you said this was a bird guy, and I was like, I think he's more of a fish guy. And sure enough, he says we do have some common DNA with your human fish.
I mean, but he also kind of looks like a bird, though. Like,
in as much as fish look like birds generally. Yes.
How many fish have beaks?
So many fish, dude.
Yeah, listeners,
grow up. Look at a fish.
Listeners, just so you know, I've literally Googled Temuera Ray, and we're looking at Google Images right now.
Yeah,
and
just like a fish.
No. He's got
a fin on his head.
He's got a beak. He looks like a dinosaur, if anything. And birds are closer to dinosaurs than fish. So,
oh my god! In the movie, he explicitly says we have similar DNA to your ichthyological.
I'm not talking about what was said. I'm talking about what we see. We're talking about film here. We're talking about visual. We're not talking about practice. We're not talking about a game. We're not talking about a game. We're talking about practice here. We're talking about cinema. Oh, by the way, look at this one. He's wearing wings. That's weird. I love fan art. On the internet.
Ever heard of flying fish?
By the way, fan art. Flying fish, of course. Yeah. Look at this though. He's got fan art. Yeah. Fan art, please, internet, don't stop. Look at this. He's got a beak in every version. A beak is a bird.
A beak and fins.
Yeah, but
because fish have beaks, dude.
And you know what? Birds have directional things to also fly. So I don't think I'm that far off. I don't feel like
No. You're not that far off. But I just wanted to let the listeners again know that I was right again.
And
twice in one episode. And let the record show 2 times today.
All right. Well, let's hold on. Let's just be because that's not the same day because we're in a different day now.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. One time on Tuesday and one time today on Thursday, as we live and breathe.
I mean, come on, look at this. By the way, Temuera Ray is voiced by our fantastic Jeffrey Rush, which is completely random.
Yeah, who I don't know who that is, but he was great.
Christ.
Good role.
He was in it. He played the villain in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. The guy with the
the octopus guy or the squid guy or I know the guy. You know the guy. I'm talking about.
I know
the tentacles.
Yeah.
One of the ocean creatures. Speaking of ocean creatures, it seems like this guy's kind of typecast as an ocean creature.
I see what you did there, and I don't like it.
Yeah, weird. I mean, you brought it up. I didn't know who this guy was. You said it.
Fish don't have beaks though, so I'm still leaning into it.
Yeah,
I'm actually, you know what?
Mouth still beams. So.
I don't think this guy even knows where he's from. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. So
okay, yeah, he doesn't know he's a fish, right?
Sometimes people don't know what they are until they look in a mirror. So all right, so we meet Temuera here.
Looking forward to how much of that you keep in the episode.
All of it, because
I hope all of it.
So Birdman shows up, and
Fishman, right?
He gives immediately right off the bat ton of exposition, but like, hey man, I'm glad. Yes. He's like, hey bro, I'm glad the ring translator is working, so we can speak the same language, which also explains why the first Green Lantern, Eber,
Sir, right?
Thank you. Could speak English. You're like, what? And then he's like, yeah, guess what? Here's where you are.
You're the first human lantern.
Yeah, and Hal's like, wow, I'm 2,814 fanatics light years away from, Earth. And he's like, how did I know that? And bird fish guy here is like, more exposition because
part of your onboarding.
it's part of your onboarding.
Did you read the packet?
Did you read the packet? And then he gives more exposition about and the Citadel, the Ancients, the Guardians, how they created this, all this shit. They created everything.
Peace, order, justice.
More about the Green Lantern Corps, which
etc.
Literally explain this in the first 5 minutes of the movie, how important they are. And then we're getting our first test flight.
We're going to fly now. Gonna fly now.
And he's like, yeah, you ready to fly? And now Hal Jordan's like, oh yeah, flying?
If there's one thing I know how to do,
it's fly.
Goose.
I know how to maverick here. Let's do this. Goose, bird. Yeah, let's do this, Goose.
And so he obviously falls off the cliff, but then flies.
But that's a classic. That's a classic
baby bird.
Right?
Scenario.
Like, hey, now it's time to fly. And you stand up there and the guy's like, ugh, fly. And he just falls off the edge and then tweet. And then just swoops up.
Yep, that's right. And then obviously on our flight, we get more exposition. This is the living battery.
I'm gonna go through this. You ready?
Please, yeah.
Because I wrote it down word for word. So this is so much exposition.
Give me the rundown.
So they're flying around town and we get they're flying towards the green beam. It doesn't matter.
Towards the green beam.
Yeah, the green beam. The
Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah. So a giant green beam of energy, right? And so they're flying through it, and Hal now he's all questions. And he's like, "What is it?" Beam of energy is generated from the central battery. Mm-hmm. Its power comes from the will of every living creature in the universe.
That's right.
It in turn charges your lantern,
right?
Which in turn, turnister,
even turnier,
charges your ring.
That's right.
Even your suit is comprised.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, compromised.
Yeah, not compromised. Yeah.
Entirely of energy. So many questions. He keeps going. He's like, "What's with all the green?" Our response is St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day. Hope you had a safe
happy.
Right. Green is the color of will.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if that's true. Sounds like it though.
Nope. Sure.
Guardians, I think Guardians source the will because it's the strongest source of energy in the universe, or are they Guardians?
That's right.
Right?
Well, they thought it was until they saw fear.
Well, fears leads you to the dark side. So could have gone a Star Wars route. So bunch of exposition there. Wondering
he's like, all the stars in the sky you can see at night on like a clear night on Earth. And I was like, sure. He goes, yeah, good one. Your realm is like 1,000 times bigger than that. He was like, and then there's 3,000 of us that all have the same vast sector. And he's like, fuck, like, this is like, why isn't this, again, it's not like the MCU where people have good concept of like a good working relationship with aliens. Like his brain should be exploding right now. Trying to comprehend all of this.
I'm not sure any human could actually handle this.
No, definitely not.
Your brain would just melt. You're like, bleh.
Yes. Squeeze me?
Yeah. And they'd be like, yeah, exactly, as humans would.
Yeah. 1,000 times more than all the stars in the sky I can see?
Yes.
What? That's just me?
All right.
So anyways, that's when Sinestro shows up.
Yeah. And we're back. Well, he gives a big speech, right? So we're back at Oa, he gives a big speech. But,
We've landed, from our flying adventure. Our flying exposition is stopped in the big crowd. We're in the big crowd. There's thousands of lanterns around, all waiting for the big speech. Yeah. Sinestro rolls in and he's like, y'all, I know this is an unprecedented gathering.
Which he uses unprecedented way too many times in a single.
However, unprecedented danger is afoot.
Is this your presidential speech right now?
Yeah, I am not a crook.
These are unprecedented times against an unprecedented.
And I did not have sexual relations with that Kilowog.
And the parallax, we need to get him.
Then he's being a dick, talking about how Abin Sur's light, something that can never be replaced, and everyone stares at Hal in a crowd of thousands of people.
Yikes! Yikes! Awkward.
But everyone's mostly bought in. Everyone's like, okay, we all have to unite. We are the core. They all chant a bunch, kind of creepily.
Fired up.
Ooh.
Now we're into training again.
More exposition, right?
More exposition, ton of training. And this is where we get some setup. We get some setups here though for payoff later for Superman 4 payoff.
Oh, a foreshadowed maybe?
Maybe an foreshadowed. So we got a Kilowog, right? He shows up, I think, right? Well, hold on. Well, first of all,
this is when
Birdman,
fish guy says.
Fish bird guy.
The ring creates reality from your thoughts.
It's straight from the trailer. It limits only what you can imagine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing a little swirly, bird thing because it looks like birds.
If you want to see paradise.
Because birds and fish kind of travel in similar kind of pack thing. So, and then Kilowog shows up, right?
Right. Exactly.
And then it's like combat training time.
And then it gets heavy metal.
Yeah, Jared, you poozer. How about you walk me through this whole scene here?
Fucking poozer.
You fucking poozer.
Welcome to Ring Slinging 101. The worst day of your worthless life.
Go.
Bad ass.
You dirty poozer. So
He's calling him poozer, which I don't get. But
I'm going to call you poozer for the rest of this episode. So they're having a little physical thing going on here. And Cal's his constructs are terrible. He's like, come on, man. Your constructs are only as strong as your will.
And his will is weak.
Kilowog is like loading a bunch of stuff on, like dropping a bunch of stuff on top of Hal, whatever. And whatever contract he makes just breaks and blah, blah.
He's losing. He's very clearly losing.
And then we get the line.
Gravity's a bitch. Good writing.
I wonder if that's going to come back later.
Nope, it won't. Nothing in this movie comes back later.
They're doing their thing. They're getting a little fight. But the gravity is a bitch thing, though, does come from Kilowog basically projects what's going to end the movie with the little mini sun thing.
That's true. That is true. The bigger you are, the faster you burn.
He literally explains how Hal's going to defeat the enemy.
He sure does. It's frustrating.
Literally lays it out there word by word how he's going to defeat the enemy at the end of the movie.
And then this is when we get the help him up and punch him situation when he talks about the enemy not fighting fair, to which Hal kicks him in the nuts, which I'm not sure Kilowog has nuts, but
we don't know.
Apparently he does.
Well, he does. Yeah, we do. Yeah.
He goes down. Yeah. He goes down hard.
He may not have nuts, but he's got some type of sensitive area.
You're right. That's right.
In the same spot that humans do. So he's really not that far off from being a human. So
yeah. Well, as we know, all aliens apparently are humanoid, and therefore,
right.
One of the things that pisses me off the most about the Green Lantern universe is how explicitly they've made it that Earth is actually the genesis of all life in the universe. Like all life did come from Earth, and so we do have a common ancestry. Yeah, it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating.
It's a little weak sauce.
What can you do?
All right, so we have some foreshadowed about how the movie's going to end from Kilowog using the sun and explaining basic planets, orbits, objects, gravity to Hal.
And then this is when Sinestro shows up.
We get the shot from the trailer. Hal
makes a sword.
Makes a sword. It's like ugh. How human.
So then they fight. And this is when Sinestro explains that fear is the enemy of will. Hal makes that chain gun that we saw in the trailer too. Sinestro repeatedly says that he stinks like fear, which is funny, kind of.
I mean, there's a ton of foreshadowing here for Sinestro's turn. Ton of it. Like,
guy loves fear.
Loves fear. He keeps talking about. He's fucking talking about.
Oh my God. Get a room, you two.
Right?
Yeah, sitting in a tree. Right. And then he walks away right after he talks about how much he loves Ab and Sur, which is also weird. He like keeps talking about Ab and Sur. He's like Ab and Sur and fear. Ab and Sur, fear. Those are the things in this world that I love. Which
and he's like, well, that was my best bud, and I mean, maybe there's more to it. Hey, whatever, that's fine. But
no, that's great.
That's great. I'd love for that to be a thing.
Well, there was a power dynamic that was, kind of because he was his mentor.
Eben Sur was a little more badass, I think, and just getting things done. But
that too.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Saying Eben Sur might be an abuser. I don't know. Sinestro is kind of a victim here, actually.
Hey, which incites fear, and that's why he embraces the fear to become,
the best villains are victims, right? Very Anakin Skywalker. The other guys, Sinestro's like pissed, obviously. The other guys are more encouraging. They're like, no, the ring never makes mistakes. Trust us. You're going to be fine.
The bird guy in particular, Birdman.
Yeah, Fishman is like...
With a little bit of fishy to him. He's a fishy bird. He's just
Albert
like...
Fishman. I think it's his name in the
No, it's actually Temuera Ray, which...
Albert Fishman, right?
Yeah, Temuera is actually a small bird, so figure that one out.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Google it. So...
I'm going to.
Hey, focus on the movie. Stop Googling things.
Hey.
Don't worry about what I said in the past. Let's just move on.
Yeah, we'll focus on the future. Focus on family.
All right. So, so the gang, Sinestro, obviously, sinus guy.
Sinus guy.
No one's happy. All right. So then Hal basically, he gets his ass kicked yet again. He got his ass kicked from marketing, Bob from marketing and the accountant guys. Then he gets his ass kicked from intergalactic space aliens, Sinestro there. And he's just like, oh man, I guess I'm not worthy enough. And I got shut down. And he shows up at home and he's just kind of like sulking around, but he has a moment and he's just kind of like,
hey, you guys.
And then there's a quick shot of I think there's a quick cut of the Green Lantern core group, like Sinestro's core group. They're flying.
There is, yep. Because they're out on their way to confront Parallax.
Never-ending scrolling web design.
That's right.
Are we is it a college campus or a high school? College, right?
I think it's a college. It's definitely a college, right?
Okay, I was confused. It felt like college. So we're a science building here. And we got Hector, we're
in science school.
Hector is he's not doing the best that he could be, right? He's a professor. He's teaching these kids science. He's trying his best. And he's having a hard time. And the kids aren't helping him. And the kids are just kind of, one kid in particular is just kind of a loose cannon. And you know what? I have no problems with this entire scene.
No, me neither.
So Hector, he can hear thoughts. He starts realizing he can hear thoughts. He hears thoughts of this kid talking trash. And Hector's like, you know what? Test his powers.
Excuse me?
And he's like, I'm sorry. What'd you just say, kid? And the kid's like, I didn't say anything.
I don't think he understands his powers yet, right?
Yeah, he's kind of figuring out what's going on. And the kid's like, this guy's a freak. He doesn't say it out loud. But Hector hears it. And he's like, I'll show you, freak. And he just tosses this kid.
Love it. We love to see it.
Yeah, I'm on board. The kid was being a punk.
Love a good child toss.
Yeah, the kid's being a punk. Come on, man.
Class dismissed.
What a that's an 80s kill line right there, right?
Yeah, with prejudice.
So then he's
halfway. We're slightly more than halfway, right?
Yeah, we're about the midpoint of the movie. Hector is now in his science lab. He's doing some, blood sample work as one does on themselves when they feel like they have a cold, and he's doing some science time here. And then he's also. It seems like he's injecting himself with other stuff too, not just taking his own blood. I don't know. It seemed like he was doing some weird stuff. He gets a text message.
A dad text, a classic dad text.
Classic dad. Meet me in my office at 3 p.m. I don't know.
Dad. Signed dad. That's how you know it's a dad text.
Which, by the way, this is on a sweet LG flip phone. It's 2011. Yeah. Now, we've had cell phone conversations in a lot of movies. 2011, there were
smartphones, yeah.
Yeah. Like this is an old school flip phone. This is like,
to be fair, the one scientist that we know who doesn't listen to the podcast also had a shitty dumb phone until way later than everyone else I know. So I buy it.
Okay. All right. I'll let it slide.
I'm bought in to the adventure.
I don't agree with it, but I'll let it slide.
You'll abide.
All right, so we're at Daddy's office. We're at Daddy's office, right?
That's right. I'm glad. I like when you switch to my notes to remember where you are.
Yeah, because I didn't want you saying it because I don't like when you say it.
Daddy.
And we get an awkward father-son interaction. Tim Robbins as
you gotta
Dad.
Get some sleep, boy.
What are you out with late with the women?
Yeah, you hate sleeping, boy. You like women, boy.
Like, what is going on right now?
Squeeze me.
This whole scene, I was all confused about this. So Tim Robbins is a senator.
Yep, and he's impressed with the autopsy situation. He's like, you impressed me and a lot of other people by autopsying that alien. And he's like, you know about that, Dad?
Well, then Hector Hammond, the genius that he is like, oh, wait a second. The only reason why I was there is because of you.
Yeah, how much of a genius are you if it takes you that long to figure that out?
But yeah, right. He wasn't winning at that chess game, by the way, in his apartment. And then Senator Hammond's like, yeah, I got all the info right here. And he literally pulls out the big hard drive and it's just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And Hector's like, what?
Don't be naive, son. It's the way the world works.
What was the conversation? What was the conflict?
The conflict was Hector was for some reason baffled that his powerful father got him a sweet job, which makes no sense because
that makes sense. Yeah,
he should expect that.
Yeah, you're a genius. Shouldn't you understand how this works?
Yeah, you're a genius, and of course, your powerful father will get you a sweet job because that's how it works.
Yeah, none of this made any sense.
Sweet, stupid Hector.
Yeah, this whole scene was very messy, and what they were trying to do, like build this tension between him and his father, was absolutely terrible.
But then they end it and then they end it with the real tension builder, which is Dad's thoughts of he's wasting his life. He's an embarrassment.
We have no sense of like what is he doing? Like he's working at a
he is
high
wasting
school.
His life. He is an embarrassment. You're right. I'm on board with you with that opinion. He is wasting his life
with the dad.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm Team Dad. We have no sense of him accomplishing anything. I agree with what you were about to say.
I don't know if I was about to say that. I was like, I don't even know what he's. Okay. I'm glad you know what? Fuck it. I'm glad you're agreeing with my thought that I haven't even had yet.
Yeah, you're right. Hector Hammond stinks.
You know what? I'm glad we agree on this. I'm not sure if I had that thought, but you know what? I'm going to take the agreement as a sign of I know what I'm talking about.
That's right. You had a great idea, pal.
Thanks, bud.
Then we cut back to Hal, right? Hal's staring at the ring again.
Well, we get a quick shot of the Green Lanterns with Sinus guy fighting Parallax, right? We get a quick cut.
Right before that, we get a shot of Hal looking at his ring, and then it cuts to the.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. He's doing like.
Then it cuts to the fight.
He's like, oh man, ring.
What responsibility? Me?
What? Is it on my wedding ring finger too? Commitment. And then we cut to the Green Lantern assassin crew trying to take out Parallax, and they can't.
No, they screw it all up. And it seems like everyone except Sinestro dies, right?
Yeah, so this is where that's kind of a fishy situation. Not a Tamar Ray situation, but I'm talking
who is a fish, right?
No, he's a bird, but
yeah, so it eats the fear of all of them and leaves them as gross husks. And then we cut back to the Guardians, and Sinestro's like, guys, you guys, lives are eternal, and they can't measure things in mortal lifetimes. Right, exactly. Look at my powdered wig.
Anyway, so we're at the council. They sit in very high, rocky chairs. They all look like Mars Attacks aliens. And then Sinestro's like, I lost my entire crew, but we've been tracking Parallax, and he's on his way to
headed right this way, you guys.
He's coming right here, guys. We gotta do something. He's coming right away.
A little Christopher Walken-y.
Christopher Walken would have been a better Sinestro.
He's coming right to and I don't know what you want from these other lanterns.
It's council. It's crazy. He's coming right here. You're out of your minds. He's on his way. He's going to eat it all us up.
That would have been a way better play than Mark Strong, I think.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
it's me, Sinestro. Sinestro. I'm just trying to tell you. You out of your minds. You don't even know what you're saying. He's here. He's coming. All right. So we got so Sinestro, Christopher Walken. We get now we get more exposition about our villain.
Well, I wouldn't have it any other way.
All right. I'm gonna try and get through this exposition drop. So the council's now dropping exposition to Mark Strong, aka Sinestro's character, who is kind of like the main guy here. Wouldn't he know all this? But fuck it. So
back in the day.
So we want to tell you something here, son. Back in the day, this council was made of 10 of us. There are now 9 of us.
We almost used fear that one time, but then we were like, nah.
Do you see the empty chair over there? There's like a giant rock thing. It's like broken in half.
That empty chair.
So that was one of our friends who wanted to go check out fear.
Richard.
Do you understand why we're calling him Richard? Yes, we got it. So let's just say Richard. He's like, oh man, because we all sounded like, oh man, I will go check out this other power source called fear. And he flies to the life of the center of the earth, whatever the fuck this thing is. Mm-hmm. And we're literally getting a flashback of Richard flying to this thing and being like, oh, cool, flashy light. And he goes in and it's literally called the Forbidden Chamber.
Right. Because of course it is. What would you call a Forbidden Chamber?
DC's not very good with subtlety. So yeah, I'm going to go into the Forbidden Chamber. Why not, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes in there. He draws over the walls and his intentions are pure. Mm-hmm. But he got consumed by the yellow power of fear.
Yeah, use guys, I bet we can use this fear thing. It's fucking cool. You guys should check it out. It's real powerful. I won't get sucked in, I promise. All right, you guys?
Richard, I think that's a poor choice.
Hey, oi.
Richard, Dick, if I may. I think that's a bad idea. Said the other 9 council members.
You guys don't understand. And then he did it anyway.
And that's how Parallax was created. Yep. And we get further confirmation that Eben Sur was kind of badass, super powerful Jedi lantern, and he locked
he's
up.
He's kind of the Obi-Wan, for sure.
He's the Obi-Wan, right? He's like, I'm on the higher ground, and he just locked up Parallax and tossed him to a little Green Lantern prison
in the Lost Sector.
In
the aptly named Lost Sector. Oh, I know. We'll put him far away.
This sector shouldn't be fucking named.
Oh, no. That one. The Lost one. That's when Sinestro's like putting everything together and he's like, let's what if we did a little bit of fear bit stuff? I'll get back to you.
I get some ideas.
Dad.
Yeah, I get some ideas.
I'll figure this out. Don't worry, you guys.
And he also basically, he's like, oh, so basically Richard's coming back to seek revenge. But this is, and this is where Sinestro is like,
Richard.
He's like, you know what we need?
What's happening?
But this is also where Sinestro is like, he ends that whole scene with like, you know what? I think we need to fight fear with fear.
Yeah, it's a classic fat guy in a little coat scenario.
That is, if that's an A foreshadowed for a sequel, at this point, it has to be a sequel because we're more than halfway through the movie. I was like, well, you can't be the villain now, but.
That's right. So we're back at Daddy's office, and this is when we get, he looks horrible, right? Hector Hammond. Looks a shadow of himself.
Yeah, he's
at best.
He's turning into a monster.
You got to get some sleep, son, is what his dad says. And he's like, oh, yeah. So they have a big conversation about how, I've been impressed that you did the alien autopsy. And he's like, wait, Dad, you know about that? He's like, son, I know about everything. How do you think you got that job in the first place?
I'm a senator. Senator. Boy.
I'm on that committee, boy. I'm speaking more Southern than he is. Like talking about this is the way the world works. It's all nepotism anyway.
Anyways, all right. So we were at Ferris Wheel Aircraft. They're having a big celebration because they got the contract. And this is where we get Hal and Hector like interacting. And I guess they kind of knew each other.
It's the party, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a big party.
And it seems like my best thought was, oh, right. He's related to Carol in my mind. Because I was like, it seemed like they all knew each other earlier when they were kind of talking about whatever. That's not the case. But in my mind for a second, I was like, wait a second. Is he Carol's brother? And that's how he knows Ryan Reynolds' character, but it's not. But they do know each other from kids, apparently.
Yeah, they've all grown up together, right? I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that Hector.
It seems like they did.
Yeah. Anyways, he's being creepy.
Yeah. Daddy's talking about, well, there are thinkers and there's doers, boy.
We get this conversation between Senator Hammond and Hal and Hector here. And there's so many H names. Why would you do this? This is so stupid. And Hal is like,
Very Marvel.
Yeah. Hal's like, defends the thinkers of the world. He's like, yeah, well, without the thinkers, I can't do what I do, fly around on my plane, blah, blah. And you can see Hector's kind of like, plane. Pause here. But this would have been this was so confusing to me because I didn't understand Hal and Hector's connection. I don't understand it. Yeah. I don't understand it. It's like, but they have one. And it's like, there's clearly like a weird, like, obviously not brothers, but older, brothers, different people spectrum and like a father liking one versus the other. It's like, it's the exposition we needed compared with the exposition of the rest of the movie. Like, why are they connected? Why does this matter? Yes, I agree with you 100%. And what a great conflict they could have played up of like, a father choosing someone who's not his son over the other one. And the other one he's choosing doesn't have a father. Like it's all right there, but they just,
competitor for partners, like they both like Carol, kind of. Oh, it could have been so interesting, and they squandered all of it.
It was a waste. It was stupid.
Why imply that they were childhood friends? Like you didn't need that. Like again, back to we could have cut 45 minutes to an hour of this movie.
Who cares?
Cut that whole interaction.
Yep,
it doesn't matter. It didn't matter for the play out.
Nope. And then, but either way, so Ferris Wheel Bueller Aircraft here got the contract. That's why they're celebrating. Yep. The contract from the beginning of the movie that Hal did the test pilot thing against. Also,
what happened to the VP of marketing and Todd and Gene from accounting? Like, what? Nobody said anything about that. Like, did they? I mean, I'm assuming they were embarrassed because they got their asses kicked. Yep. But also, like,
they lost their jobs.
That was supernatural. Like, they've never seen anything like that before, presumably, right?
No, well, maybe they just got
aliens don't exist in this universe.
They just got knocked out so hard they have no idea what happened.
I guess so, but like that's fucked up. Like they got some serious
CTEs. They got some serious CTEs, I think.
Oh, they definitely do. Yeah.
But they also lost their jobs, so they don't even work there anymore. So who cares about that storyline?
It's stupid and frustrating. It should be a big storyline. That should be news. Everything else, every other stupid thing is on the news. Why isn't that on? That's news.
I don't disagree with you.
Anyway, all right. So he's complimenting his daughter and Hal.
Yeah.
On stage, right?
Awkwardly. What a weird thing to say in front of a bunch of people. Like, yeah, the future is Hal and my daughter.
Carol. Yeah.
She comes off the stage and Hector, being super creepy dude, is just like, hey, hey, Carol. And he's super awkward. And then he starts talking about aliens.
Have you heard about the alien?
That my dad's hiding.
Carol's like, what?
I'm sorry, what? And Senator Robbins there, Mr. Dad Hammond, he comes over and he's like, my son. My son.
He's in a helicopter.
My son. He's big into science fiction and comic books.
Yeah. Nerd.
He's like nerd. He's like 30 years old and like a respected scientist. Like, what?
Yeah. If you see a lunch tray, smash a lunch tray, boy. That's what I always say.
So it's awkward. And then Hector's like, shut up, Dad. And just,
my real.
Runs away. And then we get our hero moment. Senator Hammond, Tim Robbins, playing Senator Hammond. Gets in a helicopter and does this really goofy, like, hey, everybody, see you later party. He's floating away in a helicopter, which is just like, there'd be so much wind and like people are like, I can't see because there's so much dirt being
Yep.
It's how helicopters work.
Hector uses his mind powers to fuck the helicopter.
Yeah, he shoots a beer tap into the tail of the helicopter.
So smart.
Which, hey, you know what? Don't drink in helicopter. Yeah, don't drink in helicopter. That's our PSA right here.
That's the ITMT official stance.
Absolute chaos now.
And then Hal springs into action.
Yeah,
he's like,
well, not immediately. Not immediately.
Well, almost immediately. Pretty quick.
I don't know. So the helicopter. No, not at all. It took so long. So
a few minutes, yeah.
So we get the helicopter gets its thing and it's flipping around, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh man, this is crazy. And we get shots of Tim Robbins being like, I can't get under control. Clearly it's crazy. And Hal's like touching his ring and he's like, oh man, maybe I should go do this thing. But then for like the next 5 minutes, it's just this helicopter spinning around. And then the helicopter just crashes into the party and slides through the entire party. Dude.
Fair.
Where is Green Lantern? Like, what are you doing? You don't have
some amount of wasted time.
You do not need to find a telephone booth. You can just poof.
Energy up. Yeah.
Yeah. You can just put on your stupid mask and everyone will see you anyways.
All your powers are CGI.
Just do something. And he doesn't. And helicopters smashing through this entire party. Somehow no one's dead, but in real life, everyone's dead.
Thousands of people are dead.
But, yeah. Hundreds, tens of hundreds.
Mm-hmm. Tens of hundreds.
And the helicopter's just smashing through. People are running. Chaos is happening. Somehow, of course, Carol gets just tossed into the drum set by a marching mob of people.
Yeah, hilarious.
Knocked out, kind of, sort of. Snare drum hit. Helicopter's coming right towards her. And this is where we get the A foreshadowed.
Yep, this is when we get the Hot Wheels track from earlier.
In one of the dumbest, lamest.
It's a classic A foreshadowed.
He could literally come up with anything in his mind, and this is what we get:
a racetrack. He turns the crashing helicopter into a race car that then flies around the track.
And then, meanwhile, that's happening. Something's going to crash down on Carol. He puts a thing over that, and he keeps building a track, and then he slows it down. Track goes on, blah, blah.
Hector Hammond kind of slinks away.
He's like,
my bad.
Whoops, I should have.
Did I do that?
All right, then we're back to the Hector pad. What up, Hector pad?
Mm-hmm. He's got a cute little hamster. That's fun.
He does. And more screaming.
So he said every villain has a hamster, and I said that's fucked up.
That is kind of fucked up.
But probably.
Hector had too many drinks. He's got a massive headache. His head explodes to, yikes. He starts screaming yet again. This is probably 2 or 3 times he screams. And then Parallax hears that, though. Why would Parallax hear that? Oh, because he got the bit and he feared. Okay. Right.
Fear. So much fear. I think the screaming this is one of the 7 screams.
Yep. And then he grabs his seat and he's like, yes, I'm fully transformed or mostly transformed into Hector Mondo here. And
my head's all weird shaped now.
He's like, and he checks out a bunch of photos of Carol because
what an amazing hero.
Because yeah. And then we go to Hal's pad. We're in the Hal pad.
Where Tom shows up and yells at him about the Hot Wheels track. He's like,
thank God.
That's the best you could come up with?
Yes.
Come on, man.
Thank God.
Somebody said it.
And he's like, hey, man, can I see the suit? This is also one of the other trailers.
Show me your powers. Show me what you got. So Hal is about to blow his mind, but we're reminded that the battery needs to charge.
Yeah. Little reminder.
Green Lantern suit. And it doesn't work. And he's like, oh, shit, I got to charge the battery real quick. So he puts it in the lantern and charges it up and then blows his mind by getting his super suit on, which Tom says, you're a superhero. Don't they always get the girl?
Cut to Carol's office here. Yeah, the girl. And he basically lets her know he's like, this is what's going on, right?
Yeah, Hal shows up outside her window.
Yeah, like a creeper.
Changes his voice. She's got blue eyes, different voice, very minor differences. He looks exactly like Ryan Reynolds.
I just want to apologize for this situation.
She thanks him for apologizing. And then all of a sudden she's like, wait a second. Is that Hal Jordan? Out of nowhere. She's like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
I figured it out. Are you that fucking stupid?
I do appreciate that. Like, yeah, it's
so frustrating.
But it's a stupid costume.
Wait a second. And that's when she does the improv line. I saw you naked, something about your cheekbones. And then they talk on the roof and he confesses everything, which is also a weird move of being like, hey, guess what? I'm a Green Lantern now. And she's like, what?
But he also confesses that he quit the little crew there.
Yeah,
the club up there. And we get, again, her being like, what if you never quit something that you cared about?
You've been given so many things so often.
Yeah.
You always fuck it up. And then she says good night and walks away and cries. And then Hal flies away. And that's
then Hector is sitting there in a car watching all this go down. He's like,
yeah, weirdly.
Yeah, he's like,
look at my brain.
Look at my brain. It's protruding through my skull.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're at the old science center, right?
Back to the lab. Yep. Where the other doctor shows up, Angela Bassett. She's like, I got something to show you.
Dr. Waller, yeah.
And so she touches him and he looks into her past. And her past is horrifying. Like that would be a whole movie on its own.
What's next? No, this is where you get to lead us on.
Yeah, no.
No. What are you eating over there? Yeah, pistachios? What are you eating? What you eating over there?
Quick little gummy bear, bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Bright adventure, it's beyond compare. Bouncing, exploring through the hills and the forest. The fucking is the drinking fucking gummy berry juice. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. So we're back in the government building here, and Hector meets Dad, right?
Papa. And he's like, I'm gonna get you so well, boy.
Goddamn it, son.
Back to full health. Yeah.
Son, I'm a senator. I can fix this.
I've got the best healthcare in the country.
I got government healthcare, which is no one else knows,
baby.
And no one else knows about it, but I've got it. And it's not true. But then Hector's like, from the trailer, he's like, I've never felt better.
Me, it's the best I've ever felt.
Yeah, he's got a crazy forehead thing going on. He's a little sweaty. He goes after the senator and then they drug him.
A little sweaty.
So he wakes up and now he's strapped down in the alien bench there. And they're like, yeah, we found alien life form, traces of alien life form in you, bro.
Yeah, hate to see it. They're like, don't worry, we can get you better, son. And then they put him to sleep.
And we cut quickly to Hal hanging up by his car thinking. And then we cut back to the government. Okay, I don't know why this is.
The ring never makes mistakes.
Oh, that's right. There was a voiceover, right. Just to reinforce that he was chosen for a reason.
So back to Hector. He's restrained now, tied down to a bed. Daddy's like, guy, we're going to run a bunch of tests. It's going to be awesome. But Hector's not having it, and he mind shoots the needle into the doctor's face.
It was pretty badass. I was kind of into that. That was
Then he's like, run.
That was kind of fun too.
People don't run. Obviously, throws the other doctor into a window. Angela Bassett.
He trips up Angela Bassett and his dad with a single shop vac, which is that's pretty.
And he straps his dad into the same bed that he was just tied up in.
And then we got other guys coming in trying to shoot, and he controls some arms that grab them and knock them into each other.
And then Hal shows up, and they have a little fight.
Which, if we didn't call it out, but if you didn't see this movie earlier in the movie, though, part of the training was that the ring will tell you where trouble is, right? Because at first I was like,
how did he know? Right? Yeah, that's fair. It's the ring is supposed to let you know when there's trouble in the it's giant stupid galaxy that sector that you run.
Which there's a ton of trouble always happening. It was stupid. I didn't like it. So they get into a little fight, Hector, Hal, throwing it down here.
Falls down and he starts laughing maniacally, and then he touches Hal, learns that he's Hal, and the rest of his memories.
Well,
then he asks him about Carol.
Yep.
Hector's like, you're afraid. I can see it. I used to fight my fear until I realized the power, the real power of fear. And then he burns his dad alive.
Which was pretty brutal. I wasn't expecting that actually, but
it was kind of cool. Yeah. And Hal tries to get up, but Parallax gets into his mind and tells him that he'll have the same fate as Ab and Sur, and they're all going to die.
He literally just tells his what his plan is. He's like, I want to consume Earth. I'm going to consume the ring, and then I'll have enough power to go defeat the Guardians. It's like, yeah, dude. Yep. We're it's like
easy peasy.
Yeah. Like we know this.
Nailed it.
We already know your plan 3 times now.
It's too many times. And then Hector walks away.
Hector gets blasted away, and I was like, is he dead? No, he just disappears into miss. Scream number 7. Ah.
Right. Yeah. Walks away, I guess. He doesn't walk away, but.
Well, yeah, he gets blasted across the room. And
screams away. Yeah, screams
like,
away.
Oh, my God. He gets. Blah, 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 we get witch. All right. And then we're at House Pad, right?
Yes.
And then we get a bunch of, character stuff. We got Carol. We get the best friend, Tom, there. And they're like.
Yep. Hal's explaining to them, to Carol and Tom, like, you guys, I'm afraid. I don't know what to do.
Carol, yet again, is, she's the balance. She's the weight. She's like, hey, she's a voice that brings it all together. She's just like, hey, the ring saw that you had the ability to overcome fear. Clearly, she's the genius.
That's also like not really Hal Jordan's character. I mean, a little bit, but like that's more of a Kyle Rayner thing when you're like, oh, like really leaning into the fear as the premise of why he's a good Green Lantern and that he can experience it and overcome it. Like that's the more important part.
Yeah.
It's not so much a Hal Jordan thing, but
why wouldn't they just go with Kyle? I mean, is Hal Jordan the more?
He's the favorite Green Lantern, but
the OG.
Yeah, until like the early 90s.
Yeah.
If you're talking Green Lantern, you're talking Hal Jordan.
Now they're like, well, let's just fucking make shit up and just,
like, oh, we'll just make him a comic book artist who is like, that's who you want to see as a Green Lantern. That's why Kyle Rayner's my favorite, because you're like, oh, he's so creative and he can do like the whole point of Green Lantern is you're limited by your imagination. Like if you're an artist, you're like, imagine his unlimited imagination. It's so much more interesting. What a way better character. And he also experiences fear and learns how to, because he is just an artist. Like Hal Jordan is already a military guy. Like
he's not,
it's not like he's not a regular guy. He's an Air Force pilot.
Yeah. Well, he comes up with jets.
Right. It's different. Like he's already in like a fearless position. Whereas having somebody who's like your regular guy who likes drawing all of a sudden become a hero. That's a way more interesting character to me. It's like why I love Peter Parker so much, why I love Spider-Man so much. Yeah. Oh, he's just a kid who happened into some powers, and it's far more interesting than like, oh, court military guy becomes even more powerful. Sick.
After watching this movie and having this conversation, I think I'm going to do some Green Lantern homework and do some digging and read some comics.
It's good. Green Lantern's good. Kyle Rayner and John Stewart Green Lantern are awesome. Hal Jordan Green Lantern is so boring, in my opinion.
It's weird that they picked this then. It's probably because
it's because he is the big name until like the early 90s. Yeah. Then even since then in the 2000s because DC did all like the
so he was old school. So he was old school leading up from like when it started all the okay, gotcha.
Like
but then
60s,
when it started getting
to early 90s.
But then when the characters started getting interesting is when 90s. Gotcha.
Yeah, original Green Lantern was actually Magic. It was Alan. I can't remember his last name. It was an Alan character, and original Green Lantern was like, "Oh, the ring runs on magic," and like it was really weird and very different from what it is now.
That's funny because like if that's actually a reference, because like they actually say in the movie like, "Oh, it's not magic." So
they do. I think that is a reference.
It's like a reference to like being like it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, because original Green Alan Scott, I think was his name. As I'm remembering. And that was he was original Green Lantern. It was like, oh, it's magic. It doesn't, whatever. And then in the 60s, 70s, when they were like, oh, Hal Jordan's going to be the new Green Lantern. They're like, sci-fi is the new trend. The kids are hot on sci-fi. Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay.
And they turned it into like a planetary, whatever thing. But it's interesting. Green Lantern's cool. And Hal Jordan in the new late aughts after 2005, I feel like is when DC did a bunch of weird rebooting stuff, and Hal Jordan has some good storylines now too. But
DC rebooting? Come on, please go on.
Yeah, I never heard of such a thing.
Then we cut to Hector's pad, and he and Parallax have a little chat via mind stuff. And Parallax is like, "You need to eliminate the Lantern because he's."
That's right. We're at Hal at Oa. He goes back to Oa and he's like, I need more help.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So there's a This movie does like some weird cuts here, but so then we're back to and we get Sinestro is like he got the okay from
you
the
guys.
guess what, guys?
I made this yellow ring.
Hey, Mars attacks, guys. All we need to do is fear ring. Come on, fear versus fear. So Sinestro.
I'm not a sicko.
This ring, your father, Hal, he had this ring up his ass for years. That explosion, it didn't happen. The ring was up there.
His ass.
His ass the entire time. I took it. Jesus Christ. All right, so Sinestro. Sinestro, he builds a fear ring. I'm like, all right, this.
Hal walks in and is like, "You guys,
yo, human on board. Got to tell you what's up.
I need help saving Earth. We're worth saving, I promise you."
Are you though?
He does a big speech about fear. One thing I did appreciate is that the speech that he gives, where he's like, humans are, I'm only human. We say it because we're vulnerable. We say it because we're afraid, like not because we're weak.
Yep.
We're like, this is, we're not feeling fear. It's whatever it is. And that's verbatim from the comic book. There's a comic book storyline that they cover this where he's pleading to the Guardians. Yeah. That's which I appreciate. Yeah. Great tribute. And probably the best part of the script in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Which again,
it's the best
they
line.
Didn't write it. they didn't write it.
No, they just took it from the comic book.
Which makes it more frustrating.
Yeah.
But yeah, good bit. That's when the Guardian's like, no.
Nah.
But then that's when Sinestro kind of buys in, though. And he's like, good luck, Green Lantern. And acknowledges him for the first time.
Yeah, as like being like, okay, you stood up, you're here.
We're peers.
But he also he weirdly asked for permission to go fight for his own world. And, yes. But it's like, he's like, hey, Sinestro's like, hey, man, you're going to do this, but you're going to die. But hey, you know what? Hal's like, yeah, well, I'll die trying. Classic. I mean, right?
Yeah, you're one of us. Yeah, you're one of us.
We're heading back to Earth, and we're in the Ferris hangar because he just knows where to go, and something doesn't feel right, but we got Hector Hammond hanging out. Now he's full on Hector here in his wheelchair and everything, right?
Right. Yep, exactly.
And then we got Carol kind of trapped in a little mind floaty meld.
She's in a mind bubble.
Yep. Mind bubble, and she got a little syringe heading right for her neck. Which
terrifying.
Like, why didn't he just do it?
Right.
Like, why the threat?
Well, because he wants to taunt Ryan Reynolds. Like, he wants to. Like, I get it. It's stupid. The way they made the movie character, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense in real life. Like, obviously, if you're doing this, if you're actually doing this, it doesn't make any sense at all. If you're making it in the sense of the movie, sure. I agree. It makes sense.
No, you're right. You're right. Because like the entire movie is like he's comparing himself to Hal, and he just
exactly. He wanted to give Hal a chance to,
and he wanted to show Hal. He wanted to show like Hal, I've got more control. I'm better than you. I'm more
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. It's stupid, but you get it. It's dumb.
So she got a syringe of fear juice hanging towards her neck, and we get the Hector Hammond's just like, I've loved her since before the beginning of time.
Yep.
And this is a pretty boring back and forth. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, it's super boring. Yeah.
But Hal was like, hey man, don't whatever. Hey, I get.
It's like, wait, if you let her go, I'll let you have the ring.
He gives over the ring, and Hector's like, oh. And he puts on the ring, and he's like, yeah, and he shoots the little.
I lied.
Yeah, I got the power. Shoots a little blast to the back there, and he's all fired up. And then, I mean, come on, this was definitely a setup, right?
Hal says, I also lied. The ring can't be given that way. You got to be chosen, baby.
Gotcha, fucker. And then Hector's like, zap, goes to zap him, and he's like, nah,
zip, zap, zap.
Pow. Kapow, and he gets shot across. Carol's dropping. Ryan Reynolds. Now he's not Hal. He's just Ryan Reynolds. He just slides across, catches his future wife. Then Parallax shows up and just blasts the windows, and just kind of like, I'm here. Guess what?
Hey, you guys.
hey. Blasts the glass, and he's just like, I'm gonna eat. And he's just beast moding right at this point.
And Hal's like, I got to get the ring from Hector's corpse. No.
Well, yeah. So this is the thing where just before that, though, I mean, so Parallax shows up and he's like, you failed me, Hector.
Oh, right. We didn't get to killing Hector yet.
No.
Sorry, my bad. It happens in 1 second.
It was so unsatisfying. It's just like,
oh, you're not an important character anymore. doomed.
It was so unsatisfying. It was just like, oh, okay.
You don't matter. That's what I was getting at with its life. It's the Sam movie. Oh yeah, you're led to believe to be one of the most important characters in the movie, and then all of a sudden you're not important in 1 second.
And he's done. He's just a skeleton. Yeah. So yeah, Hal's got to go get the ring. He can't off his dead corpse buddies guy. That whatever. He's getting now pulled into parallax because now we're learning about gravity and large objects. It's still a parallel here. X. Mm-hmm. And then Carol's like, hey, you know what? I got an idea. I'm going to run in my high heels to the drone station.
That's right.
Because that's what they make every woman do, is run in high heels. And she's computering and she fires up the drones from the beginning of the movie. It's all coming back. A foreshadowed. She shoots some missiles into parallax because apparently that's going to distract him.
Right.
Missiles to the face.
Which it works.
That's all that matters. Carol runs down, grabs the ring, doesn't she? Like toss it to him.
And then this is when we cut to like the city streets, right, where everyone's panicking because parallax is like destroying the city.
Yeah.
There's a quick cut. It's just a very quick cut of like,
no. Get a quick moment of now all of a sudden to the city, everyone's freaking out, and then we cut back to Hal and Carol. Right?
I'm not sure if I can defeat the parallax, but I think I can at least distract it and drive it away from here. And Carol's like, I don't know.
Yeah. And then he's like, I can do a dogfight. She's like, it's a giant monster. All right. So parallax is rolling into the city.
Yeah.
Like 9/11, just kind of steaming
inspired,
through.
Sure.
Inspired by 9/11, just kind of steaming through. You can clearly see the fear on people's faces. I actually forgot about this, but parallax actually just starts killing people.
Thousands of people died, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually forgot about this. Yeah, I
think a couple of 9/11s happened. Yeah.
Yeah, he's plowing through and he's just sucking souls and just foom, 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 foom. Kind of reminding me of that scene in War of the Worlds where the things are coming down and just zapping people. Like foom, foom, foom.
Oh, yeah.
It's also still pretty terrible CG though. So
agreed.
Hal shows up and he's doing some not very good, I don't know. It was all pretty boring.
Yeah, I kind of glossed through the scene real quick. I was like, Hal says the ring chose him. And he's like, I got to fix this. The police are trying to clear the streets, which isn't working. Parallax is killing more and more people.
Sweeping through.
Probably, like literally thousands of people dying.
Cats and dogs living together.
Oh, yeah. Hal's trying to fight he's got a shitty imagination. Hal's imagination blows, as we know. He's making the worst things with his ring.
He's a dummy.
Parallax tells Hal that he's going to destroy everything that he loves. Hal starts saying the oath over and over again. He's like, oh, the oath.
That's right. Yeah. Parallax starts like shit talking. He's like, yeah, you know what, dude? I'm going to eat everyone. I'm going to eat everyone that you love. I was like, Jesus.
Parallax says the entire human race will be wiped out because of you, Hal Jordan.
That is
afraid.
He's getting deep, Parallax. Like, holy smokes. Harsh.
And then he's like, wait a second. I'm going to just fly into fucking space and lure the parallax into space because it'll follow me probably, which great idea.
Great idea.
So he does that. Parallax is like doing okay. Like it's getting redirected through the asteroid field. You get Hal Jordan flying through an asteroid field. He's like leading him towards the sun because, as we know, in the universe, all the best problems are solved by throwing something into the sun, right?
Hey, sun cannon. Yeah.
Sun cannon, of course. Everyone thinks that's the way to go.
I mean, it is the way to go.
And then this is when Hal makes some jets using the Green Lantern powers to propel himself away from the sun because he's getting sucked in now via gravity, which, as we know, is a bitch from earlier.
That's already foreshadowed that gravity's a bitch.
As we know,
gravity's a bitch. And Parallax is the bigger the object. Basic science here.
That's right. Mass equals power. This sucks. This whole fucking scene sucks because Parallax is supposed to be so cool. Like Parallax is a parasite based on fear, feeding. Like you can't destroy Parallax in the sun. This is stupid. This is asinine. I hate this.
He's just a giant mass of poop. He's a giant Parallax in this movie is a giant turd.
We'll burn the smoke monster in the sun.
Bigger mass, bigger pull towards the sun because, sun's got to,
It's so dumb.
Yeah, Hal's doing the Jesus moment. Arms out, right? Holding his arms
Falcon
out.
punch.
Yeah. Gets the jets. F-35s, of course, and those are holding him back. And then he flies up and over, and then Parallax just gets sucked into the sun and zapoid.
Yep.
There's no more scrolling. We don't need to scroll anymore.
Well, and this is when we do have to get green tentacles. Like Hal then also dies, and it's like green tentacles save him.
Well, it's a resurrection, right?
Because
it's a resurrection because he was,
right. It's Matrix 4 or whatever, 5, 6,
17, whatever. And he's falling in towards the sun because he's given everything he could to save everyone. And then we get green tentacles grab him.
From Sinestro, not a villain yet.
Not a villain yet.
So then we're back on Oa. We get Sinestro giving a big speech. The Corps is going to remember Hal Jordan forever because of the actions that he took today.
Yada.
What a wild time to be alive. Yeah. Kilowog's like, can I train him or can I train him? And I was like, wait a second. You spent literally 2 minutes in a scene earlier.
But
this is
Kilowog did give him. He did give him the idea for the kill move. It's all about gravity, right?
However,
he taught Hal Jordan about physics.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! However, it's not that. He's not a good. He didn't do anything. He is so little up. No one trained him. He just lived his life. I'm so frustrated. And anyway, Green Lantern's light. That's like the end of that scene. Like, everyone, beware my might. I'm so fucking stoked. Lantern's light.
And then, all right, so we're back and Sinestro's giving and then Sinestro's giving a big speech about fear, overcoming it, and how we've learned about how to overcome fear from this little human who smells terrible. And then we get, again for some reason, Sinestro telling Hal Jordan who he is as a character. You're dirty. You smell. You're a maverick. You rogue. You're obnoxious. You're human, but God damn it, you could be my wingman anytime.
Damn it, you're a good cop.
But God damn it, you're a good Green Lantern Corps cop.
3 days away from retirement.
Obviously, I'm too old for this shit.
Damn it, you're a good cop.
But God damn it, I'd trust you with my daughter. Like, what's an Astro? It's so terrible. And then all's good.
Yeah. Makes Mark strong.
All is good.
I'd like to think he ad-libbed those lines.
Yeah. So we're back at Earth and we're at Carol's office and we got the old wrap it up with the date. Here we go. Hal and Carol chat. He's like, hey, I got a new job. I work for the, International Galactic.
I work for the Green Lantern Corps. And they're looking out of the sunset. Hal's like,
perfect.
Mind if I throw on my lantern suit? Real quick.
Jesus Christ.
She's like, take off your mask.
Oh my God.
And then they kiss and it's terrible. And Hal is now acting like this is his job, but also he needs money from somewhere, correct? Because this apartment looks fancy.
Yeah, I mean, no, we've established that his apartment is, it doesn't matter where it is. I mean, it's in Coast City, which is basically California. And
it's San Diego.
Yeah. Yes, it's San Diego. It's San Diego. And his apartment's dope, and there's no way he can afford that.
No.
She can. She's got dad's money though.
Like, I think maybe she's subsidizing Hal Jordan at this point, right? Because he's like, well, my job's to save the universe, babe. Take a boat for you, babe.
I don't work all the time, but when I do, it's important.
No big deal, but I've got Sector 2218 under my belt.
2218. You don't even know what that means, do you?
Classic.
You're probably not even sure what the lost sector is, do you?
Yeah.
You probably even know where that is.
Look at all the stars you can see. Like 1,000 times that. Imagine. You can only imagine.
I got to police all of that by myself. Cool. Things are cool. And then he takes off. And then we get a voiceover from Bird Guy, Temuera.
Fishman, right. And he's like, of all the lanterns in all the world, this one guy, he was the coolest. He was the,
you know what? And I want him to fly like a bird, like my people.
His light shined brightest. His fish swam swimmest.
He birded the most and flew the best. Fish don't fly.
We'll put that on a shirt.
Fish don't. TMT. Fish don't fly.
Fish don't fly, baby.
Let me get the old, superhero flying off into space. The Matrix ending, the first one.
Yeah. And then we get our mid-credits scene.
The end. So then we roll.
That's the end.
Yeah. The end. That's it. The movie's over. And then we roll the credits. And then we get as everyone knows, you get the highly stylized credits, before they roll to real credits.
Yeah, and then you get like a Hobbit-style Sinestro putting on the yellow ring, and he's like, fear. And then...
We didn't see that one coming.
The sequel we never had. Yeah, badass. Could have been cool.
Could have been.
Should have been. Mark Strong, maybe not the best actor for that. Yeah. I did like at the end of the credits. Did you catch the very last screen there?
Oh, no.
Read Green Lantern at your local comic shop.
I did. No, I didn't.
I like that. That was nice.
I'm going to. I'm in.
I'm pro Read Green Lantern at your local comic shop.
But I'm in. I'm curious.
Yeah, it's a good universe. I don't know. I feel like I liked weird comics growing up. Spider-Man was definitely the biggest one that I liked. That was like the most everyone likes Spider-Man. Everyone likes Spider-Man.
Come on.
Of course, everyone likes Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's dope.
But then I read a lot of Green Hornet and Green Lantern. I both liked Green Hornet. Was like,
you're a big green guy.
I liked Phantom, dude. Remember the Phantom that made that movie in the 90s?
Yep. Yeah.
I liked the detective, no powers. Like their powers are guns. You're like, oh, my powers are guns. You're like, sick. That's dope. Those are the comics I read when I was a little kid. And then X-Men, mostly X-Men after that. But
yeah, I was heavy X-Men. I was Iron Man I was
right.
Into
Yeah. Never got big into Iron Man. Like I know you did. I did like the cartoon, like the late 80s, early 90s cartoon.
Yeah.
That was good. That was a good show. They were doing the superhero cartoons they were doing at the time were amazing. Like what a great era for superhero cartoons.
100%.
Batman the Animated Series, obviously.
Come on. That is like the definition of probably one of the best animated,
Spider-Man the Animated Series also.
Fantastic.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. I don't know, Justice League, all of those really good ones that DC had its prime then. That was when I was like, oh, I'm super invested. That's why I got into Superman and Batman and all of them.
Yeah, it was all there.
And Justice League was so cool. That's why I got into Green Lantern.
Yeah, it's not anymore though.
I know. Martian Manhunter is so cool. It's so frustrating. What a great intellectual property to waste, to squander on the worst movies.
Yeah, and to continue to, but
I want Green Lantern could be so cool. We could have the coolest Green Lantern movie.
Could be.
Starring Ryan Reynolds. I want a reboot with Ryan Reynolds. He'd be a good Kyle Rayner. I think he'd be a great Kyle Rayner.
You want a reboot?
I want to reboot Green Lantern. Ryan Reynolds
with
as Kyle Rayner.
But okay.
That's right.
As Rob Reiner. Okay, got it.
Rob Reiner. Right. No.
Oh, no. Kyle.
God damn it. That would be fun, right?
Yeah, because that'd be fun to explain to everyone. Or not. Just let them figure it out.
Yeah, Green Lantern can be cool because it's only limited by your imagination. That's the fun part. That's always been the fun part.
But he's also pretty mega powerful, though. And I think they gotta figure out a way to
I mean, it's Superman. It's the same.
But his powers, but he's got a battery, so he's like Superman.
You gotta charge it, right?
Yeah, he's like I got a smartphone, but it's only got an hour of battery life on it.
And you joked about it, but White Lanterns are a thing too. You do when you master, that's Kyle Rayner turns into a White Lantern later, because when you master all of the different colors of
the lanterns
and whatever else.
Yeah.
That's the White Lantern is you've mastered everything else. You've mastered fear. You've mastered will. Yeah. Love is the violet.
So you're telling me something I joked about before and didn't know is actually real.
Yeah. It's comic book canon.
I can write this shit. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think this was a smashing success in terms of us celebrating St. Patty's Day.
I agree. And I don't think we have the comic book audience that we think we do either. I think we really fucked this one up.
Yeah, no, we're fine. It's fine.
No, we're fine.
They'll find us and then they'll be like,
that's right.
You know what? These guys, They know what they're talking about.
They care about something.
Most things. All right. Well, that's it. We did it. We made it. No promises, but we're probably going to do more DC Universe stuff because a lot of it's really bad. So
it's mostly bad.
We may even do Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, because it's 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, that'd be fun. It's a fun movie to watch.
We've never done anything. What was the oldest movie we've done? Nothing before. We've done nothing before 2000.
Like late 90s. I thought we did like a 99. No, I think you're right.
I don't think we've done anything before 2000s. So
okay.
Maybe we go old school and have fun with it.
Yeah.
And then we come back and do Batman vs Superman.
Yeah. Let us know, listeners. Do you want us to do The Quest for Peace?
No, I'll answer that. Yes, they want us to do that.
They do. Okay.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back next week with a new movie, new breakdown. We're not even sure what that is yet, I don't think, but it doesn't matter. Just
could be anything.
Yeah, could be anything. We could change our minds on the fly. But in the meantime, you should follow us on Instagram. It's This Meets That. We're ITMT Pod on Twitter. You should tweet us, whatever you want.
Tweet us. Tweet us at Beatus.
I was going to say something that didn't make any sense, but yeah, you should tweet us movies or whatever you want. But otherwise, if you're listening to us, Spotify, Google, Apple, you should subscribe or follow, whatever the button says. Just do it. Get in there.
That's right. And while you're there, you can leave us a review probably on one of those platforms. 5 stars would be nice, but we'll take what we can get. So interact with us. Leave a review if you can. You can send us an email if you want to tell us something specific. If you don't have enough characters that you can use in a review, you want to, critique our thoughts on, I don't know, modern capitalism. Sure. We're open to that.
Yeah.
Send us an email.
Best cuts of meats to grill.
Best cuts of meats. That's exactly right. Best cuts of meats at barbecue. We're very pro meat here. It's thismeetsthat@gmail.com. You can also go to the website. We don't have any posts about meat yet. I've been meaning to post that Wishbone post for a bit. You know what I'm talking about, loyal listeners. The ITMT Wishbone rules. But you can find all our episodes in the meantime, all the way back at our website. It's thismeetsthat.com.